Greetings, everybody. It is Icewater, and today I bring to you a much anticipated video that I've been honestly behind the scenes working very hard to do, and it's to discuss Ready or Not. So this is going to be one of probably two of the videos that I make. Before the video begins, I want to make a disclaimer that some of the topics that will probably be discussed in this video are really how do I put it? It's not meant for everybody. So if you are easily squeamish, if you are the topics in this video are really quite graphic in nature. So if you are uncomfortable, please click out the video. Viewers discretion is advised, but that is going to be discussing Ready or Not. So what this video specifically is going to be talking about getting S ranks on Ready or Not missions and how difficult they are. So there'll be the base game, so not the Iron Man mode, and it'll be based on my experience and how I think of the maps and how frustrating hard they are. And trust me, there are some really frustrating maps on here, and I cannot wait to specifically talk about one. So we'll be talking about that, and it'll be on the difficulty of standard. So I have not done these on hard. I will probably do that on my own time, but I will not be making a video. So this is based on standard difficulty S ranking. Now, to get an S rank in Ready or Not on a single mission, you have to not kill anybody. So you have to run a non-lethal build. You have to not only make sure that you are alive, but every single one of your officers are alive at the end of the mission. And third of all, you have to make sure every civilian is alive. Not incapacitated, alive. And that is to maximize your points. See, if you get a +5 because a civilian is incapacitated or they are dead, then you will not get your S rank. Same goes for the suspects. So there are some fairly difficult missions, so let's obviously begin with the first ever mission. The first mission we have is Thank You, Come Again. This mission takes place at a gas station that also supposedly has a built-in diner on both sides. Now you can walk in. You start at where the gas pumps are, you go in, and there is an incapacitated body. Now, I know that I said that incapacitated bodies don't really count, but this one is always going to be here at the very start. And so, this mission is honestly fairly easy. You could honestly probably do it with your eyes closed if you are experienced, or if you take it slow and methodical, you could do it on your first time if you've never played Ready or Not with a non-lethal build. And so the objectives here are straightforward. You have the basic two, which is bring order to chaos, get every single suspect, and make sure that every civilian is okay. And then there's two other objectives. There is the find the manager who is incapacitated at the back, and then you have there's a specific person you have to look for. They're always in the freezer in the back. Now, this mission isn't typically difficult. I got it probably really easy within the first couple of tries. First time was because one of my teammates got absolutely slaughtered. That was kind of embarrassing. But other than that, no. Ready, Thank You, Come Again is a fairly easy difficulty of a 1 out of 10 difficulty. Frustrated me, it's a 0 out of 10. This mission did not frustrate me at all. It's honestly probably one of the least memorable missions of all time. Mostly because of the storytelling of that. There was robbers, they shot the manager dead. Basic story. You hear about stuff once in a while. A tragic way of, life, but it happens. You hear about it quite a bit. So it's... honestly, memorability is not that high. Memorability is going to be probably 1 out of 10 as well. The second mission we have is 23 megabytes a second. Now, there is a lot going on in this mission because the story behind it is that there's a streamer, Michael. No, Mel, not that one. This one in the game shot his mom, supposedly, or did something wrong. And it is our job as the SWAT team to de-escalate the situation. And this one is kind of a little bit memorable more than the last one because this is where a lot more objectives are actually introduced other than find the composed manager, and that you obviously have the base 2 objectives, bring order to chaos, make sure every civilian's okay, and then you have to arrest Michael. If you want to get an S rank, if you're not trying to do an S rank on this one, and you shoot him, you lose heavy points because that's one of the objectives. And there's the soft objective of reporting the illegal server farm downstairs. S rank, getting an S rank on this one wasn't really too difficult either. It was a little bit difficult because the objective is really at the 3rd floor. But if you go through the fire exit, clear out the server farm, go upstairs, clear the 3rd floor, and then grab all the civilians, and then clear out Michael's apartment room, it shouldn't be that difficult. You might have a bit of moments where the AI kind of just charges at you and stuff like that, but difficulty-wise, a few tries at least. Memorability, a bit memorable than Thank You Come Again, because it's an apartment building this time. You obviously hear stories about this happening a lot, where streamers obviously get swatted because of trolls online. But in this instance, and this mission, there was a reason. So, memorability is a 2 out of 10. How frustrating this mission is. It's a 0 out of 10. It's really not that much. It's again, it's one of the first few missions that you play through to get your bearing straight of what you're getting into with Ready or Not. Obviously, the further more you go down, the more things we have to go. Okay, 3rd mission, Twisted Nerve. Now, this one is probably where people are going to start to realize that maybe Ready or Not is a game for them, because it's a horror game. Let's be for real. Ready or Not is not a sim. Well, it's a SWAT simulator, but it's not an FPS shooter such as like Call of Duty and Battlefield. It's slow, and it really makes you uncomfortable in situations. And Twisted Nerve is probably going to be the first one to probably do this for a lot of people. Now, this mission, you SWAT basically a crack house, and there's the blue candies. You understand if you played the game or if you watched Breaking Bad, the blue rock hard candies, quote unquote, that you gotta find those kind of labs, and there is a child that you can find who is unconscious. Now, this is a time where Ready or Not has had to censor this due to it going on to console platforms. And from what I understand, in previous games, in the previous update, before Ready or Not came to console, this child was seen in a very graphic ways. Nothing exploited. It was just basically the child having to what it seems to be like a seizure. And this is probably, again, where a lot of people are starting to realize that maybe Ready or Not is not the game for them. So this adds total shock value and memorability. To me, this mission feels a lot like that one mission from Modern Warfare 2019, Clean House, because this map takes place at night, and if you set up everything properly, then then this mission really does feel like Clean House. So, other than the child unconsciously found in her bed, there are these homeless people that come at you and just charge at you. And this is where the game really truly tests your rules of engagement, because a lot of people, they'll freak out and they'll just absolutely just gun the guy down. And it is actually kind of really scary when around the corner, and then you just hear somebody yelling with a knife, and you just go. Difficulty, not really most of the difficult one. This one is a little difficulty when you do go into the cave systems, but other than that, it's not necessarily difficult. The map is a bit of a maze, so you may get lost, so that's probably where difficulty does rise. So Twisted Nerve gets a 3 out of 10 difficulty for S rank. 1 to 10 for how frustrating this mission is. It's not really that frustrating. And then 3 out of 10 for memorability. The next mission we'll be talking about is the Spider. Now, I'm going to be for real, this one I don't remember much about other than it being in, I think, some kind of like foster care or daycare center. But there is some implication of weirdness with children in the map storytelling. So I guess there's that. There's that, and then you have to arrest a certain guy. And then make sure that you get everybody, all the civilians, and you get every chaos under control. This one is where difficulty kind of like skyrockets a bit. It's a bit more difficult than Twisted Nerve, where they could be anywhere. And the frustrating thing about this one is that it feels like that the people on the roof that you have to clear have aimbot half the time. And they will gun your men down until A, one of your men die, which immediately eliminates your chances of getting an S rank, or B, you can take them out non-lethally. And this is a bit problematic when there's a lot of them in a room, so obviously you want to bring flashbangs and obviously try not to incapacitate or kill any of the suspects. Another frustrating thing too is that the civilian AI is a bit weird sometimes, where if there is civilians in a building and there's gunfire, they run in front of that gunfire and they die, that also immediately disqualify you for an S rank. Difficulty is starting to ramp up a little bit. It is a 2 out of 10 at most. How frustrating it is, 2 out of 10. It was a little frustrating. It took me a little longer than the previous missions. Memorability, I'm going to be for real, 1 out of 10 at most. Probably because this is probably one of the more boring missions out there. So, A Lethal Obsession is probably the first and only mission, outside of DLCs, I don't really know much about the DLC missions, where it's just bring order to chaos. And that seems like an easy task when you have 3 of them, because there's only 3 suspects you gotta arrest. Your main guy and 2 other assailants to this guy. However, the difficulty comes when this house you have to clear out in the middle of the forest has, 1, these people know exactly where you go, because these are conspiracy theorists. And 2, they have traps. So if you are not careful, then your team could be flashbanged. That's the least one to worry about. If there is a bomb and you go through it, or any of your teammates go through it, then it is an automatically disqualification of your S rank, because those bombs at those doors are an immediate kaboom, meaning that your team is gone for. Difficulty, this one probably took me a little bit longer than the last couple of missions we talked about. This one took me about a good couple of tries, mostly for the fact that it was, 1, really buggy, or 2, the last guy I was looking for killed off my team one by one, and it was just so frustrating at times. So how frustrating this mission was, it's starting to get up there, a 3 out of 10 at most. Difficulty, 4 out of 10. Memorability, 2 out of 10. It's nothing more than just a house in the middle of the forest with a crazy conspiracist guy who has done some weird experiments and is out of it. Ideas of March is the next mission, and this mission has you clear out a luxury apartment. And this one's not necessarily really difficult. This one's probably like deep in the missions, probably one of the least annoying missions. The only annoying part about it is the traps. That is really about it. This one makes it on par with the Twisted Nerve, and The objectives aren't really that hard. It's bring word to chaos. You know the drill. Just grab all the civilians. There is the one where you have to find a specific civilian, which is the war veteran, I think. The Navy veteran, one of the two. And then you have to find where the snipers are, because in this mission, the reason why you're going to this apartment building is because you are investigating a assassination attempt. Basically, there's 2 snipers, and it's politically motivated. So there's that. Other than that, it wasn't that hard. It took me at least 3 tries to get through it, to arrest everybody. There was a couple of times where a couple bombs got past me, and I ordered my team to go through it, and then kaboom, everyone died. So this one's on the more tamer side as we go further, but the more further we go, the more difficult and more rampant in frustration we go. The next mission we're going to be talking about is Sinus Trail. Now, this one, difficulty, it's only difficult because of how difficult it is to see the enemies. See, this mission takes place in a server farm, and you have to deal with the security and everyone who's not compliant. And oh boy, this one's when frustration goes from a 2 out of 10 to a 4 out of 10, because it is kind of annoying when the most stupidest places these people are hiding get you or your team, and you just have to reset. Memorability wise, this one also is a 1 out of 10 because it's not that memorable. It's a server town, server center in the middle of nowhere where people work and that, and there's really not so much going on. It's literally just grab civilians and bring order to chaos. That's all there is to it. Memorability, 1 out of 10. And S rank, I don't know. It's difficult, but not insanely difficult compared to the rest. Ends of the Earth, going to be a lightning wing. This is where you raid a house, bring order to chaos, grab the civilians. This one is an only special one where in the attic there is a weapons manufacturer being held, an illegal one, of course. So there's that. This one's honestly probably another least memorable mission. It's just a generic house where nothing really shocking going on other than an illegal weapons manufacturer is happening. I guess the only reason why they're doing it is so that they can get medicine for their grandma. So I guess you do feel a bit of empathy, but obviously you're a SWAT officer, so you're doing your job. Difficulty, 1 out of 10. This one was a very easy one. And memorability is also another 1 out of 10. It's just not that memorable, and it's not even that difficult either. Alright, now we're going to be talking about probably the first truly difficult mission, and that is Greased Palms, or better yet known as the fucking Postal Map. This one is... this map alone took me 5 days to complete. Now, obviously not 5 days, 24 hours, non-stop. Obviously there was things to do, but it took... I was counting the days. It took me 5 days. And it's because there's a lot of kill boxes in this map. The outside, it's a little difficult. It's a bit more longer range than what I would personally like it to be, but it's manageable. But when you get into like the fucking warehouse and just the areas they could shoot you from and your team, and it is such a difficult one. I don't think it's the most difficult. There is 2 that I find honestly fairly difficult compared to the rest. So the first truly difficult one, this one gets a 7 out of 10 memorability because this one literally almost broke me when I tried it on my own, and my team when me and a couple other buddies tried to do it. This one, it's the kill boxes that get to me, and it's just the stupidity of the AI in this one that gets to me as well. Frustration. This one gets an easy 8 out of 10 frustration. Memorability, this one gets probably an 8 out of 10 for how frustratingly hard this one is. And difficulty, an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 across the board. It's probably one of the first frustrating maps, and if you have the patience of an elephant, you'll be fine. If not, don't bother getting S rank. Valley of the Dolls. Now, getting S rank on this one is probably the most hardest one. And not because of actually how difficult it is, or, that the mission itself is actually pretty difficult. It's not that difficult. The reason why S rank on Valley of the Dolls is going to be an instant 10 out of 10 is because of morality reasons. This took a toll on me personally because of what the environmental storytelling implements in this one. And this one is going to be a viewer discretionary is advised again, because it is heavily implied that Valley of the Dolls, the mission itself that takes place, think of it as an Andrew Tate and Diddy party mixed into one, but they grope minors into it. And when you get down to that final basement, it is implied that there was a lot more than just pornographic, regular pornographic activities happening here. It is heavily implied that it was much younger than the legal age. And this is why that this is an instant 10 out of 10 morality reasons. Every time you see people talking about Valley of the Dolls, there is no reason for people to be doing S rank on it other than to get the achievement. If you are playing Valley of the Dolls, but you do not care about the S rank, or you don't care about the achievements, everybody I know runs absolute lethality. No civilians, nobody left alive. And this is why this is probably the first 10 out of 10. Not because of how actually difficult it is, but how difficult it is for your moral compass. This mission gets a 10 out of 10 memorability as well, because of the first time me and my buddies played it. It literally made my buddy's stomach turn. So, the Valley of the Dolls, 10 out of 10 difficulty for S rank, 1 out of 10 for like how frustrating it is, and 10 out of 10 for memorability. Mostly because it's an uncomfortable mission. It really does something to you. Alright, elephants. The next mission here. So this one doesn't deal with the implementation of CP, but it implements the bomb threat of a university, a school university. And from what I remember, this one was pretty controversial because originally I think the developers wanted this to be a high school. And obviously we know how rampant that this issue is alone in the United States. There are obviously other places where this is a issue, but it's not as much, and it's not as rampant as in the United States. Obviously, we should be protecting our children in their schools and stuff, but that is obviously not the unfortunate reality we live in. Now, this mission is pretty chaotic because, one, you are on a time limit. There are 2 bombs in each side of the school that you have to find and disarm. On top of that, you have to make your way through the school to detain people who are shooting at you or who are actively being a threat. And difficulty part number 3 is that at times, there are times where you're on a stricter time limit because they take hostages. And this one comes in a difficulty not for the fact that it's actually difficult, it's the time strain. If you do not have a perfect run or a perfect, momentum, you're done for. There's nothing you can do. As soon as you hear that they have hostages, you might as well wrap it unless you can absolutely be a secret agent of some kind and just save those people in a miracle. And it's unfortunate, but honestly, this mission was an 8 out of 10 memorability, mostly for, again, the shock factor of that this is an unfortunate reality that we face in the United States or anywhere else in the world. Difficulty wasn't really that difficult. It was a 4 out of 10 difficulty at most. It wasn't frustrating. It did take me about a good day to finish it, mostly for the fact that I kept getting runs where I had hostages being executed, and it was just it frustrated me a little bit, but I persevered, so we're good. Alright, Rest Pulp. The next mission. This one is not really that difficult. It did take me a few tries because of how tight the corridors are in the tunnels. But Rust Belt isn't really that difficult. It really just makes you into a border patrol investigating the tunnel that has a boat in the middle. It's not that difficult because everyone, almost the entire mission, is going to be enemy contacts. There is at least 3 civilians at the very beginning. So the civilians aren't really going to be an issue. It's going to be the issue of being in tight spaces in a dirt tunnel. So, memorability, 5 out of 10. Border patrol. Frustration, 2 out of 10 at most. And then difficulty, obviously, is going to be a 5 out of 10. It wasn't really that difficult. The only difficult part about it was when it's a maze, so it's hard to find out if you got every single suspect or not, and all the evidence. And that's really about it. Next mission, Sins of the Father, is almost identical to the other apartment one, except this one has 2 floors this time that you have to clear. This one was when I started getting a little bit more frustrated with the game because of just bullshit mechanics and stuff like that. Nothing really much to go on other than that there's just chaos that needs to be settled and civilians that need to be saved. Memorability, a 2 out of 10. I guess it was kind of nice going through the different levels of apartment. Difficulty, 3 out of 10 at most. It did take me a couple more tries than the usual run. And so, how frustrating it is, I guess a 3 out of 10. Really nothing really too special to talk about this one. Nothing really too much going in. That's really about it. Neon Tomb. This one is another one of the missions that really gets to you if you are like easily spooked by reality. And what makes this one a lot more, memorable is that the Neon Tomb was based on an actual attack that happened in the United States somewhere. So the story in this one is that the nightclub is attacked by terrorists, and obviously a lot of dead bodies everywhere. Difficulty is a little hard because it is a little hard to see because there's a lot of like smoke from like all of the like nightclub aesthetic. This one did take me at least 3 days to clear out. So difficulty was about a 6 out of 10. Memorability was a 10 out of 10 solely for the fact that once you turn off the nightclub music, all you can hear is cell phones ringing from all the dead bodies. And it is super, super eerie. Again, Ready or Not does not hold back from the punches of this is what reality is for SWAT officers. Frustration, it didn't frustrate me as much as more it just kind of creeped me out. So 2 out of 10 on the frustration level, and a bonus 10 out of 10 for how eerie this mission can be, solely for the fact of just the cell phones ringing after you turn it off, and it's just a literally dead nightclub with a few survivors. It's super eerie. Next mission, Buy Cheap, Buy Twice. Nothing memorable. It's a car dealership that has the mechanic area in the back, the warehouses, where you have illegal activities happening in the back. And you also have an undercover officer who unfortunately was discovered and killed in the conference room. So there's that. Memorability, 2 out of 10. Difficulty, 1 out of 10. Memorability, another 1 out of 10. Difficulty, 1 out of 10. Carriers of the Vine is where you deal with a cult, mostly of women. And this one is on the difficult side of the bit because, so in the courtyard, there's these statues or hedges that look eerily like humans, and the courtyard area is honestly pretty large, and the women with the guns can pick you off instantaneously. It is honestly kind of ridiculous sometimes, but other than that, it wasn't really that difficult. It was honestly pretty memorable. I think it's memorable because of how creepy it is, because one of the women, when you capture, she starts laughing frantically like a maniac, and it creeped out one of my buddies. It creeps me and my buddies out. And then there's that infamous church in the back that's just absolutely creepy in the basement. Difficulty, this one's a little more on the difficult side of a 6 out of 10. Memorability, 5 out of 10. And then difficulty, frustration level of 3 out of 10. It was frustrating at times, but not too much. Now reaching the final two, which I find probably the most difficult. First of the final two is Relapse. This one, oh boy, do I have a rant about this one. This mission alone took me 7 days. 7, almost 8 days of my life of non-stop playing. And for me, it was because of just really stupid mechanics or just taking heavy gunfire at points. There was one time where I had it almost done by day 7, but I was super damaged and all of my team was super damaged as well. So I wanted to play it safe. What I didn't know was that the enemies can off themselves. And the final suspect I needed offed himself. And that A+ taunted me. Because not only is there a bomb threat where you're on a heavy time crunch, there is a lot of civilians that are running all over the place. There is a lot of people that know where to aim. And the overwhelming amount of numbers was insane. So this one was a 10 out of 10 difficulty, 10 out of 10 frustration level, and a 8 out of 10 memorability. The hospital is not really cool concept. It's kind of a hospital with some assholes who want to bomb it. And now the final mission of the base game missions. Hide and seek. Now, I honestly kind of had a little bit of ego because, honestly, I didn't think this one was going to take me as long as it did. This one took me roughly 5 days, and it wasn't difficult in the sense of that there was a big open warehouse and stuff like that. It was mostly the difficulty of the randomness of the enemies. Because one moment, you could have the least amount of enemies, and then when you go in, one enemy that you can't find kills you or your team. Then there's that. There's other times where the civilians will get in the crossfire because they have the fucking survival instincts of a goddamn cucumber. Or third scenario, what could happen if you're trying to S-rank this is where you get overwhelmed because the enemies decide that they want to send all fucking 24 suspects to your location, and you're pinned down as your team frantically shoots their non-lethal rounds while they're shooting lethal rounds back at you. So this one, it was a little bit frustrating. There was also one time where I almost had it within the 3rd day, and there was one suspect, and I didn't know where he was in the warehouse, and he shot me. Oh boy. That frustrated me. So this one is a 10 out of 10 difficulty, 10 out of 10 memorability because of the uncomfortableness of the one crate where you open it, you find missing women. Then you're ready to exfil them out, be the good Samaritan you are. And then FISA, which is the FBI in this universe, tells you, no, you can't do that. Close the container, we'll send out agents, and if you don't, you'll be interfering with a federal investigation. So your character hesitantly says no at first, but then federal investigation, and so you close it, and it's honestly probably one of the most uncomfortable situations other than Valley of the Dolls. So there. And then difficulty, 10 out of 10 as well. Sometimes it was just ridiculous on what could have happened. But other than that, that's it. So that's going to wrap it up for today's video. If you have any comments, queries, or, your opinions on what you have experienced in Ready or Not, please let me know down in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to follow me on Twitch so that you know when I go live next. Join the Discord if you want to enter yourself in the Sweater Kingdom. If you, want to enter yourself in the sweater contest and earn yourself a week-long shout-out from me. But that's about everything. Peace, Kingdom.